Good morning, everyone. I'm excited to talk to you today about behavioral learning strategies. We'll focus on shaping and chaining. We'll explore the fundamental principles behind these techniques and discuss how they can be effectively applied to help acquire new skills and modify behavior. Let's dive into these powerful strategies and see how they can make a difference. Behavioral learning principles center on how our behaviors are shaped and maintained through interactions with our environment. At the heart of this approach is behaviorism, which focuses on observable actions rather than what's happening inside the mind. One of the main ideas here is operant conditioning, where behaviors are influenced by their consequences. If an action is followed by reward, it's more likely to happen again, whereas if it's followed by punishment, it's less likely. Grasping these learning techniques is crucial because they allow us to effectively guide and change behavior in many areas, whether in teaching, therapy, or everyday life. Shaping is a behavioral technique that helps us teach complex behaviors by reinforcing successive approximations or small steps, leading toward the final goal. Instead of waiting for the exact behavior to occur, we reward these smaller, manageable actions that resemble what we ultimately want. This way, the learner is gradually guided toward the desired behavior. The concept of successive approximations is key here. They act as intermediate milestones, breaking down complex behaviors into achievable pieces. By using this incremental learning approach, we make progress possible even if the full behavior seems out of reach at first. Ultimately, shaping is about guiding the learner step by step, reinforcing behaviors that get closer and closer to the target action. First, we need to clearly identify the target behavior we want to shape. This is a specific action or response we want the learner to perform. Next, we determine the starting behavior, the closest behavior the learner already exhibits that we can build upon. From there, we reinforce successive approximations, which means rewarding behaviors that gradually get closer and closer to the target behavior. As an example, when teaching a dog to sit, we might start by rewarding any downward movement the dog makes. Then, we only give rewards when the dog lowers its body even more towards sitting. Eventually, the dog learns to sit on command because the rewards are linked directly to that behavior. This step-by-step reinforcement is what makes shaping such an effective learning process. Chaining is all about linking individual behaviors together to form a sequence that results in a more complex activity. Think of it like building a chain, where each behavior acts as a link. What's important here is that each action in the sequence serves as a cue or trigger for the next one, helping keep the flow going smoothly. The main purpose of chaining is to break down complex behaviors into smaller, more manageable parts. This makes it easier for individuals to learn and perform these behaviors in the correct order. By focusing on each component separately and understanding how they connect, people can effectively acquire multi-step skills that might otherwise be too challenging to teach all at once. Ultimately, chaining simplifies and organizes behaviors in a logical sequence, making it easier to master complex activities. This approach strengthens behavior patterns and supports efficient learning, which is why it's such a valuable technique. Here we have two main types of chaining techniques: forward chaining and backward chaining. In forward chaining, we start by teaching the very first step of the sequence. Once the learner masters that initial behavior, we then add the next step and continue building the chain in order. This approach helps the learner understand the sequence from the beginning and progress step by step. On the other hand, backward chaining takes a different approach. Here, instruction begins with the last behavior in the sequence, then moves backward toward the first step. One major advantage of backward chaining is that the learner gets to experience the reward or successful completion right away, which can boost motivation significantly. By finishing the chain first, the learner sees the immediate result, encouraging them to keep going. Both methods are effective, but they serve different needs depending on the learner and the task. Here we see several examples that really bring the concept of chaining to life. First, think about teaching someone the steps of hand washing. Rather than overwhelming them with the whole process at once, learners are guided through each action in order: turning on the water, applying soap, scrubbing, rinsing, and finally drying. This step-by-step approach breaks the task into manageable parts. Similarly, when training animals to perform tricks, chaining helps by breaking down a complex trick, like retrieving a ball, bringing it back, and dropping it into linked behaviors. Each smaller behavior is taught independently before being connected into a smooth sequence. An essential part of chaining is reinforcing each step as it's learned. By providing positive feedback after each connected behavior, learners gradually build up the entire sequence. This reinforcement process ensures that the full chain becomes a well-learned behavior. Ultimately, chaining is about building complex, goal-directed behaviors in a structured way. Whether it's a simple daily routine or a multi-step task, chaining helps organize learning so that complicated actions become achievable. These examples underline how chaining applies a structured, effective approach to teaching sequences, making complex behaviors easier to master through clear, successive steps. When we look at the applications of shaping and chaining, one of the primary areas is behavior therapy. These methods help develop or modify behaviors, which is especially useful for building new habits or improving social skills in a therapeutic setting. In animal training, shaping and chaining allow trainers to teach new commands and more complex behaviors in a clear, step-by-step way, making the learning process smoother and faster. Another important application is in skill acquisition. By breaking down complex tasks into smaller, manageable steps, these techniques make it easier for individuals to master skills, whether in education, rehabilitation, or workplace training. Overall, the real value of shaping and chaining lies in their ability to systematically teach behaviors that wouldn't be easily learned all at once, providing a powerful approach for a wide range of learning scenarios. To summarize, shaping involves progressively reinforcing steps that get closer and closer to desired behavior, helping guide someone toward that goal. Chaining, on the other hand, connects individual behaviors into meaningful sequences, so complex tasks can be performed smoothly. Both shaping and chaining are essential strategies in behavioral learning because they focus on gradual progress, making it easier to master complicated skills. You'll often see these techniques applied in various fields, from therapy to animal training, where they help modify behavior and develop new skills effectively. Finally, for practitioners, having a solid grasp of shaping and chaining means they can design precise learning interventions that produce clear, measurable outcomes. These methods really are powerful tools for driving successful behavior change.